Plug in that lava lamp and fire up your floppy disks. You've landed on the Gen X Files. While you do your best to keep your Tamagotchi alive, these guys will work to untangle the phone cords.
I'm going to have some fun tonight. I'm going to call the 7000 party line. Hope you're there.
Here's Jason Blank, Sean Knowles, and Greg Minka.
Well, it's been a couple weeks, but it's always nice to get to connect with you guys because we always have some really cool things to talk about here on the Gen X Files. Got to mention out to our one viewer listener in Italy. We're international now, guys. Like, we've hit Australia. We're a hit in Missouri, of all places. I guess we resonate with the people of Missouri. Who knew?
I don't know. I don't know why, but I mean, the food sounds good.
Oh, it's barbecue. I love it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I love barbecue.
All right, we got to start there because as you could probably see, and if you're listening, you probably can't see, but Sean is enjoying a gigantic sour soother, and like that was like the candy of our generation, wasn't it? I think
we were no longer 25 cents. That's for sure.
That's true. When I worked at the my convenience store, this was like 20 years ago, but yeah, they were a quarter, and we still had penny candies back then. We still had pennies back then. But so let's go back to those times. So when was your first real cool experience of having something that was like super sour as a kid? Because the first thing I think of when I think sour is I think Warheads. Like, I used to eat those things and they used to burn my tongue. I used to eat them so often and they were so sour, but they were so good. And you'd buy a pack. Well, I guess you'd get them for like 10 cents a piece. They would be sitting right beside the Mojos because everybody had Mojos. But you'd have to buy your Warheads about 5 cents, 10 cents a piece. And they were dangerous, I thought, when we were kids. What about you guys? Go ahead, Sean. Yeah, you go first.
Well, but it's all sticking in my teeth. You're going to have to ask Greg.
Okay, well, Greg.
I forgot how much they stick. No.
Go ahead, Greg.
Bad.
I wasn't a huge candy person growing up, but I did indulge every once in a while. And do you remember the store called Nutters?
Oh yes, my grandma worked there.
Oh really?
There's
okay.
One in Red Deer. There's one in Red Deer.
Is there?
Well.
So I remember my mom and my dad taking me to Nutters. And they were part of getting some other things. We weren't just there for the sweets, but that's where I would normally, get bags of sours or bags of that stuff. And because it was, of course, like huge. But that's probably my earliest memory.
All right, Sean, you got the stuff out of your teeth now? You're good?
Yeah. Well, kind of. We'll check. No one can see that if they're not watching.
That's right.
The sour gumballs.
Oh, yes.
Because they were in with like the 5-cent candy, whatever, the sour gumballs. Those are the ones I remember the most.
Yes.
And there was that other candy we all used to buy. And if you bit into it, I can't remember which one it is, that your teeth would stick together. You always try to bite into it as hard as you can to see if you could pry your teeth apart. What candy was that?
Fizz? Fizz?
Oh, Fizz! Fizz were so good though.
I miss those.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I can't remember what the candy was, but you bit into it really hard, and your teeth would stick together.
Huh?
It wasn't Starburst. No, it wasn't Starburst.
Wasn't Mojos? Were they?
Maybe it was Mojos.
Mojos were
I
hard,
like...
but yeah, for sure, you'd stick your teeth together. Like I think of when you bite down hard on a candy was the everlasting gobstopper, and you'd see the layers in that thing. And then you used to get that really big one, like that one, like the gobstopper or whatever that was like this huge that you'd have for like 3 months, like, and you just keep licking it and licking, like. And you get to
Thinking
different.
Back, how hygiene was that?
Like, how
hygienic was that?
No, I know.
You got a jawbreaker in your room. You wake up, you lick it, you put it down, it just rolls around.
In your room, you're taking it. In your room, you're taking it to school on your bike.
Exactly.
In the front cage. Oh, this is fine.
It's on the playground. Like, you had it on the playground. And of course you were, we were sharing. It didn't matter then. You'd share. Of course. Hey, you want a lick? Oh, yeah, for sure. I'll take some of that.
So if we're going to be honest, everybody dropped it. You just wash it off. Or you find that one kid who will just lick it off. It's
Ooh, was I that kid? But that's the thing. Okay, that gets us like, we did not know the word sanitizer at all when we were kids, did we? Like, what did we ever? We were lucky if we knew, like, there was not liquid soap. Like, we used to have the bar of Zest.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Did you say Zest?
oh yeah, for sure. Everybody had Zest, right? Or Irish Spring.
Totally.
One of the two, you know?
Yeah.
And you were in a rough day. You were having a bad day is when mom caught you swearing and you had to put a piece of that Zest in your mouth.
Oh, I wish it would have been a piece. It was liquid soap from under our kitchen sink. First time mom and dad caught me swearing, I totally learned my lesson.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, that was horrible. Horrible. Thank
Really?
you, Mom. Thank you for that life lesson, Mom, if you're watching.
Well, I didn't have to get that because we had powdered milk. I mean, I was already getting tortured. Drinking that as actual milk and not as a baking ingredient. But yeah, no, my mom just had her favorite wooden spoon.
Oh, yes.
So you swear, the wooden spoon comes out.
Yep.
Or you pick a switch.
Well, I know it's funny because my 9-year-old Chloe right now, like, she tells me, Dad, and I hardly ever swear, right? Because, of course, my job and all that other stuff. She's like, if I ever catch you swearing, Dad, you're getting the soap. Yeah. You're getting the soap. Yeah. And I've had to do it. I've done it already once. So, yeah. But
nice.
Some tough news for us movie fans this week is Val Kilmer passed away, and 65, which, it's kind of interesting when you start thinking about these actors that we watched growing up and that you start talking about how old they are. Like 65 years old. Well, I didn't think Val Kilmer was that old, but he was involved with so many great movies of our era. So that's where I thought we would go tonight is talk about some of those favorites. So I am going to start with Val Kilmer because top of mind, of course. And he had so many great movies he was in. And we were discussing this around the kitchen table here tonight on what was his best movie that I enjoyed the most of Val Kilmer. And I've got to say Tombstone. He was so good in Tombstone. And there it is. Yeah, like Tombstone was... it was an epic movie. There was so many great ones, so many great actors in that movie. The only thing that I don't like about Tombstone is musically they only had one song, and they played it for every scene. It just played it in a different tone or a different speed, but it was the same song all throughout the movie. But that role, so good. So good.
That's my favorite Western of all time.
Ooh, that's a tough one there because, we also, what's it?
Gene Hackman.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah. And Quick and the Dead. Yeah. That was, that was one of my favorites for sure as well. And he was so good in so many great Westerns, but he was so good in so many other movies too. And, so...
I don't know if this is a fact, so someone will probably fact check me if we ever get people to watch these.
My mom? You want my mom to check?
Yeah.
She'll boot up the computer.
In Quick and the Dead, when he gets shot through the hand, that's the first through and through shot of a wound in an entire movie, and in any other movie. Because you remember when the scene, the shot goes right through the hand, and they show the hole all the way through. Mm-hmm. That was the first time in a movie where they actually showed the hole from a bullet wound or any wound. It was Sam Raimi that did that. So he used a lot of his effects that he did in the Evil Dead 1 and 2. Those kind of camera effects in Quick and the Dead. That was a cool movie.
Yeah, very much so. So I guess we'll go Val Kilmer. You were going to say Tombstone as well, Greg, it looks like?
I was. I also... I like lots of Batman Forever. I know it's not a popular choice, but I liked him as Batman when he stepped in for Michael Keaton. I also just did you guys ever watch the documentary on Val Kilmer called Val?
No, I did not.
It's on It's on Prime. I watched it about maybe 6 months ago. Summer and I watched it, and well, actually, maybe even a year because with his return in Top Gun
Yeah.
and his condition, and it's really good. Like I highly recommend it. It goes through a lot of his life and what he struggled with, but it's narrated by his son,
Oh,
who sounds just like him. And no, it was really good. But yeah, Tombstone would probably be Tombstone, Batman Forever. Um,
he was awesome in
The
Top
Saint
Gun.
was good.
Yeah, Top Gun. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
so good in
Yeah.
Top Gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, what's yours?
For Val Kilmer, hands down, Willow.
Oh, good
right.
choice, man. Yeah. No.
But I love Tombstone. I love his character in Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that arrogant character of Mad Mardigan
Yeah.
in Willow. It's awesome. I've watched that movie. I don't even know how many times. I know a lot of special effects don't hold up today, but the movie itself and the story holds up. It's an awesome film.
Yeah.
Remind me, did you watch the sequel series on Disney Plus, Sean?
I tried.
Okay, so Val Kilmer didn't show up in that, did he?
I think I got through the first episode, and it just the writing was so terrible.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Because I know,
in my opinion. I mean, that's obviously just my opinion, not everyone else's. But
yeah,
I got through the one episode, and I couldn't watch anymore. And so maybe he was, but I just couldn't get through it,
Yeah.
which sucks because I love that movie so much.
Yeah, well, it was one of the it's one of the iconic movies. So, well, it kind of expands this a little bit. We lived in such a great time for movies. Like, there's so many iconic movies in our time. Like, I was watching, I think it was Fallon, and I think it's Andrew Michael Hall. I think that's his name. Or what's his name? He's in.
16 Candles.
Yeah. So he was on the on Fallon, and they were talking a little bit about his iconic films and things like that. And he was a part of so many great movies, like The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, and we were lucky enough to see these movies in our time. And like, you think of iconic movies from the 80s, there's so many 80s and 90s, but you've got Ferris Bueller, you've got 16 Candles, you've got The Breakfast Club, and it's kind of cool because we get to show these films to our kids, and they're still somewhat relevant. Like The Breakfast Club, I think, is still a cool movie. Well. Like it's held up so well over the time, and it's been out for like 40 years.
Well, here's the difference though. So those are all the same writer director.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name right now. It escapes me.
John Hughes.
Thank you.
Those are all John Hughes films. But when you watch them now, you realize that the villains of those movies were actually like Ferris Bueller was the villain.
Yeah.
Because now we're adults and we sympathize with the parents and with the principal.
You're gonna tell me Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid, was the bad guy too, right?
No, not in that one.
No? Johnny Lawrence.
A lot of those other movies were like the kids are doing things and they're being pursued by their parents, like the actual villains are the kids.
Adventures in Babysitting. Come on, like, what are you talking about here?
I love that movie.
Me too.
That movie is fantastic. I mean, that movie is so fun.
But you're saying the kids are the villains in that one now? Is that what you're telling me, Sean?
Not that one. Like the movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Just go back and start looking through some of them.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna fact check me.
Sean, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like you got parent grown up goggles on now, and you see it. Like you're telling me Dirty Dancing, right? Like the age gap in Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Like,
right? Actually, I never thought of that.
Did you? That's creepy now, man. That's like that. Just take that whole movie and made it really creepy.
Yes. Well, some of that stuff now you look at it, you're like, I don't know. That's a little suspect.
Yeah.
Writing's good, maybe.
Now, I'm never going to look at Dirty Dancing the same
terrible.
again now, Greg. Thank you for that. I tell you, everybody that's watching this and listening to this is going to say, Greg, you just ruined Dirty Dancing for the world.
You know what? We're okay. Our one listener, my mom, she's seen it lots of times. It's fine.
Yeah, so is my wife.
It'll be all right.
We're all good. She's gonna come downstairs and tell me that Patrick Swayze is sus. I don't know. Is that how they say it?
Sus. Oh, I tell you. Well, here's another one for you guys. So I just saw this, and I watched the trailer, and so Naked Gun is coming back, and Liam Neeson is Frank Dredger, or Drebin. Sorry, Frank Drebin. So Liam Neeson is going to be the main character. He is going to be instead of Leslie Nielsen, and I don't know, like. I'm in. I've got to watch it. I have to watch it. Like I've got to see it. But it's like
I can't do it, man. I don't know.
It's Liam Neeson. Like I like Liam Neeson, but it's going to be so off the wall, and it's going to be so good. And it was interesting because it's amazing how our lives reflect back to movies so much. So I was watching Robin Hood Men in Tights. It was on TV here yesterday. Exactly, right? As you're laughing, I'm laughing too. Like Mel Brooks was a genius. Like there are so many good movies that he was involved in that were just like they still hold up.
Anytime I think of a comb,
yeah,
I think of people combing the desert.
Exactly, right?
Or
I understand. I understand that reference. Yeah.
All right. I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Exactly.
Now we're gonna move it to mature rating because of that.
Or wait, fast forward. Where are we? It's now, right? Where are we? It's now, sir.
A copy of Spaceballs, the movie. All right.
Yeah.
That is all. That Greg. See, Greg is the guy with the props. You know, how was knows when
I tell you, that was awesome, man.
Spaceballs is very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
It's iconic.
So, okay, here's a question I'm going to pose to you guys then. Could you ever see that movie being remade?
No.
Just flat out no. No, hey? You know what? I agree with you. And somebody will probably try to do it. Because, again, we're in a time now, unfortunately, where we had such great films back in the 80s and 90s that all they're doing is remaking with the same plots and remaking, like Top Gun, took them 30 years. But it's still, it was, the second one was good. But
with Maverick, I would say it's a continuation of the story,
yeah.
but a new story.
Mm-hmm.
Like they really did a good job of honoring the original.
I agree.
And moving forward the story, kind of like Twisters. I watched Twisters.
Yes, so did I.
And Twisters, they really honored the original and some of the plot lines and flipped them, but still created their own movie.
Yeah.
And that I think that's what a lot of movies don't do well when they remake or redo.
Or a legacy sequel.
Yeah. Like Tron Legacy.
No, like a legacy sequel.
Right.
That's what I would consider. Yeah. Top Gun. My brother-in-law Quentin loves that. He puts that movie on and watches it like all day. It's on in the background. That movie had no business being as good as it was, and I was a casual Top Gun fan as it was. Mm-hmm. I respect it, but it never was a big deal in my world. But I love that movie. It's so good, and I'm glad that they're doing a third one.
Yeah,
right. And Glenn Powell's involved, and you talk about Twisters too, Sean. I actually just watched that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, me too.
Summer and I did, and same thing. Yeah, it was a great movie in the same world, but didn't rely on the past. But you were happy to be back in that world again.
Yeah, but you needed the one thing that was missing was Bill Pullman. I'm sorry. Bill Paxton. I always get those two.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
I always Bill Paxton.
People do that all the time. That's a common mistake.
Bill Paxton. So and it was missing that. Like the movie was excellent. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it, but part of my heart hurt while watching that movie because Bill Paxton wasn't there. And I was wondering to see if they were going to try to draw back on with the character to Helen Hunt or Bill Paxton's character, and they kind of did, but kind of didn't.
Yeah, I
with
thought
Dorothy,
the main female lead was the daughter. I thought
totally
that was who was going to be the reveal when they went. Okay, spoilers. Yeah. But when they went to the farmhouse, I thought it was going to be Helen Hunt.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I'm on the same page as you, Greg. I was a little disappointed because that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, exactly right. But still, great film. So. Continuing on that thought, are we at a time now where we're not really to the point where there are original ideas, but it's amazing how many rely back on the good old faithful movies that we enjoyed as kids to create new films that are still working like even Transformers. Like the only reason Transformers was existed is because the popularity of the cartoon, the popularity of the toys created a movie, and now it's amazing how everything seems to be referenced back to the 80s and 90s.
I even wonder too, like you talk about movie stars, like you remember the big stars in the 80s, like anything that Schwarzenegger touched for a certain time for movie roles was a hit. Stallone had a great run. Gosh, even Bruce Willis out of nowhere, the everyman action hero, right? Like there was a time, that they really couldn't do any wrong. But I wonder, like, who are the movie stars of this like generation?
Well,
like,
and it's interesting too, because you watch the Oscars, and we used to watch the Oscars dedicatedly because these were the movies that we would see in the theaters, right? These are the movies that would be the blockbusters. They were the ones that winning awards. Is it because we have so many different avenues where film and television are available now? Is that like, is the pool too full? Like, do we have so many things to choose from? Because some of the movies that are starting to win awards, and the ones that don't make sense, first of all. Secondly, they're not watched by the world. They're watched by people that have Apple or people that have Prime. They're not the ones that are at the theater that we're all going to watch. But the ones that are going to the theater are all referenced back to when we were kids. They're all the like Twisters, or there's Naked Gun. It's all going back to movies that we used to enjoy, and those are the ones that are coming to the theaters. The ones that are winning awards are these obscure ones that not everybody sees. So is it are we at the point now where we have the medium is just too wide, that we don't get the big stars?
I think it's this. I think back then the movie stars, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s, 40s, they were bigger than life.
Yeah.
Right? And the movie was big, but the actors were bigger. Terminator 2 is still one of the greatest science fiction movies of all time, but you always remember that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator. And now in new movies, even if you go into horror, specifically like Nightmare on Elm Street, you can't replace Robert Englund. They tried, they can't do it because the actor themselves is bigger than the role, bigger than the actual movie.
Yeah.
And now you have movies that are bigger than the actors. The actors aren't bigger than life. The movies are bigger than life. Even if you look at like the Avengers, those are big name actors, but at the same time, they don't carry the same weight as a lot of those big actors in the 80s and 90s did. Right? Like you'll always reference the actor than the movie.
Well,
it could be me.
An example I'll say is Big, for instance.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, and it was one of his first starts. Or Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. The only reason maybe that film was successful was because Arnold Schwarzenegger had that kind of drawing power that people wanted to just go see it. And it was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It was funny. I enjoyed it too. But I think you're right. I think it's because of the star power that people would go watch a movie. Like even Fifth Element. I think, the reason it had such success was because Bruce Willis attached his name to it. And then it became, people watched it, and it's a cult classic. Like people watch it all the time. So.
I mean, and it's an awesome movie.
It is.
It's a pretty awesome movie. And then, but you also have the ability where a movie can recover when it comes onto VHS, data, DVD. Army of Darkness is a great movie if you've ever seen it, but it was a complete flop in theaters. But it hit the VHS and then Blu-ray DVD, and it had a huge cult following. Even as early as Dredd. So Dredd, the last Dredd movie, only pulled in 54 million in theaters, but it pulled in so much. At home, it became a cult hit where they almost greenlit another movie because it had a following. That's exactly the same thing with Austin Powers. The first one actually failed in theaters. Again, I think it hit the $50 million mark and didn't really have that national success the other ones did, but it had such a huge following on, I can say DVD now, DVD, that they were able to do more.
Yeah.
You actually have those secondary markets because even with streaming, they don't share the numbers. We don't know what they actually are. They can be manipulated. So there's a lot less trust in it too.
Yeah. Wow. We went everywhere today.
That's my philosophical answer.
We became, we went from candy to philosophical thoughts about film. That's why I love this podcast so much, because we travel down the roads and we have so many different aspects that we look at everything. And I'm entertained, and I sure hope everybody else is too, because it's the conversation is really the cool part about it.
So, and Greg has a ton of great props.
Yeah, there's no way I could have done exactly what you did there, Greg. Because I'm on the big screen here. So thank you for that, and thank you for the props as always. You do a fantastic job. That's why this works.
Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, I think that's going to wrap up our episode today. But
before we go,
okay, go ahead.
I'll have a question for you.
Oh, geez.
Name your favorite actor from the 80s and 90s, and it could be the same one.
Oh, 80s and 90s. Right?
Harrison Ford for the 80s.
Oh.
90s. I would probably say Keanu Reeves.
Jeez, you're swaying me pretty good on that one, Greg, because those are two really good actors. I don't know. For me, 80s. I'm a huge Arnie fan. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was just, again, bigger than life, right? And like The Running Man was a horrible, really, it wasn't a great movie, but I watched it and I like it. Like, it's just, so.
Where's Buzzsaw? You had to split.
Exactly, right? It's just horrible lines. Richard Dawson, too, was great in that movie. 90s, I'm going to have to agree with you on Keanu. Just because there's, I'm a huge Matrix guy. I love the Matrix, and late 90s, early 2000s. That's where even Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was great. So, I'm going to
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah, for sure. I'm joining you with that one, and Greg. Well, I'll go with Arnie for the 80s, Keanu for the 90s, and into the 2000s.
Yeah.
Sean.
How about you, Sean?
My two overlap in 80s and 90s. Christian Slater.
Yeah. Good choice.
I love his delivery of everything.
Yeah.
I think he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many movies that rip off Heathers.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm not gonna say rip off. That's a terrible way of putting it. That pay homage. Yeah, because Mean Girls is a complete. It's almost like Heathers, but a little more sensitive.
Yeah.
And I love Emilio Estevez because I love his movies. I love Stakeout. I love Another Stakeout.
Ooh, yeah.
They're so much fun.
See, and then when you talk Emilio, I already might automatically think of Charlie. So
and my favorite movie with him, and it's a movie that I look on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm surprised it's scored because it's really low, is Men at Work.
I was just gonna say, that would have been my guess. Men at Work,
Go clap.
Golf clap.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah.
Oh, gentlemen, this is fun. I think we do this for our mental escape for ourselves as well, and it works really well for that. So I'm glad that we get to do this, and I hope that people enjoy it as well. Until next time, my friends, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, time to power down our old school computers and flip our CDs back into their cases. Thanks for listening to the Gen X Files, hosted by Jason Blank, Sean Knowles, and Greg Minka. Production assistance from Scott Mitchell. Produced by Blankman Productions. Remember, be kind, rewind.
Quick, rewind it!
And keep rocking those aviators and Doc Martens.